You won't edit that out, will you?
Well,
No, it is what it is.
It only takes 3 minutes to get the point.
There you go. There
To
you
get the
go.
point, exactly. To the point. Back to the point.
Back to the point.
Just
Okay, Eddie. So go ahead, start. Who's our guest today, Eddie?
Well, actually, today we have a good friend of mine, Martin Hernandez. I've known him forever.
Yeah.
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 Back from the clinic days.
Back from the clinic days.
That's crazy, man.
Came to my daughter's first birthday.
Yeah.
Okay.
My youngest daughter's first birthday, and she is 13, so at least 12 years or more.
Okay.
Yeah, 13 plus years because
13 plus years
our
when we
wives were
before.
pregnant at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And Martin, he's a mentor of mine. You
Oh,
know,
very nice.
in fact, I had a.
I think it's the other way around.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I said that. I said that to him all the time, man. He's inspired me, man.
And so yeah, Martin, tell us about yourself and what you do.
Man, born and raised here in Tampa. Went to Jesuit High School, went to USF, went to Nova Southeastern Law School, became a prosecutor December of 2000
Okay.
until 2004, May, and then I joined Danny Hernandez and been with him for 15 years now. Last month, 15 years.
So what was your undergraduate major?
Believe it or not, finance.
Finance.
Finance,
Okay.
a minor in accounting and a minor in professional technical writing.
Well,
Interesting.
his dad is
Yeah.
an accountant.
Yeah,
so
okay.
he grew up.
I was going to be an accountant. I was a CPA, and then I realized accounting's boring.
Right,
It's
right,
awful.
right.
And I was like, now, what's interesting? And I was taking a business law class, and, next thing I know, boom.
It's funny. That's what happened to me. But we ask a lot of our guests who are lawyers,
Yeah.
what made you decide to become a lawyer? So I'll get that in a second. I know the business law apparently has some impetus and some impact on you. But a lot of our guests are just, no, we were going to be whatever, and then something happened where they decided to go to law school.
Or politicians, or they
True.
think about, yeah.
True, they were poli-sci majors, they were going to politics. But so, other than taking that business law class, there had to be something. What was it? Was it the law class itself? Or?
Well, there were actually, coincidentally, at the same time, I was a teller at a bank.
Okay.
And the bank got robbed.
Oh,
Okay.
Were you
Yeah.
a witness?
Okay.
And I was a witness. I was 10 feet away from my guard who got shot.
Oh my God.
So I was taking depositions for that, lots of law enforcement interaction. And I thought it was actually very interesting. At the same time, I also got into a car accident, lots of depositions and lots of pleadings and all that. And I was like, wait, this is fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Then I got a speeding ticket.
Not so fascinating.
Not so fascinating, but I fought it and I won.
You won.
That was a hard year.
That was a hard year, and at the same time, I got a parking ticket in Ybor City for parking too close to a fire hydrant.
Wow.
Fought it and won.
Interesting.
I was like, man, this is not that bad.
Yeah.
This is actually kind of interesting. So it was interesting, true story. And I was dating a girl, and I told her, hey, listen, I'm interested in going to law school. And I've been dating her for a year, and she looked at me and said, don't bother, you'll never make it.
What? That's like
But-
motivation right there, though.
Absolutely.
But I looked at her flat out in her face and I said, listen, we've been together for a year. I cannot be with somebody
It's not gonna-
that's not going to believe in me.
My job.
We're done.
Right.
The bad part was, and in hindsight being 2020, it was Thanksgiving dinner in between the meal and dessert, and she was at my house. So hindsight being 2020, don't dump somebody
yeah.
at Thanksgiving when her family's at your family's house and in between the meal and dessert. But I was like, no, we're done. If you can't believe in me, I'm out. One of my best friends, Sarah, I told her about it. She's like, good for you. You got to be with someone who believes in you. Next thing you know, I took the LSAT and ended up in law school.
See, that's, what you just said is when somebody says no to you, and all it does is, or makes fun of you, or criticizes, or even judges you, or just any negative feedback,
you're like,
all it
watch
does
me.
is make me want to do it even more.
And I told Eddie this when he decided to go to law school. At what age?
31.
31 years old. I was like, listen, man, there are going to be haters out
Absolutely,
there.
absolutely.
There are 90% of the people out there are going to hate on you. They're going to tell you, no, you can't do it. And there's a German word called Schadenfreude, which means harm joy. The people that get joy out of seeing someone harmed or someone's failure.
Right.
And
AKA haters.
haters.
Yeah, exactly.
God, you're so sophisticated. Haters.
I know, haters.
But those people, they get excitement out of watching you fail or watch,
That's crazy.
8% of the people out there don't care, and
I don't think we
that
feel that
2% want you to succeed.
It's funny, I think most of these people are either people who failed themselves and maybe regret it,
Right.
or they're envious. Because,
You're
sure,
envious.
I think the envious people are the ones
Yeah.
that drive me even more. But, kind of, as a human, I feel bad for them. I'm Tico, I'm Costa Rican.
Yeah.
And we're pacifists, that's our philosophy. So
You don't even have a military, man.
Right? We don't have an army. So it actually shows you
Yeah.
who we are. Which is interesting story about my dad. I'll tell you a story about my dad in a second. But the point is, I feel bad for my hate. I'm like, why would he say that to me? What does he feel? What's going on in his life? I try
Yeah,
to
of course.
psychoanalyze him and maybe try to give it, hey, dude, what, did you want to go? Yeah, I wanted to go to law school. Dude, it's not too late. So while he was trying to hate on me, I put.
Yeah, most people hate because they're working a regular 9 to 5,
And they're not
And they compromised.
Yeah.
minimum wage job, hating life, and now they're mad at you and they're like, well, what did you do different?
Correct.
I did these things different. What did you do different? And I
Absolutely.
try to be encouraging, not discouraging, but still.
But look, let me tell you something. And that's the other thing that we love about, what I love about the show is that if anyone's watching and listening, the idea is to motivate them. We're all Latinos. We're all products of Latin, hardworking immigrants, right? Cuban, Costa Rican, and most of them came out with nothing. And if it wasn't for my dad and people like we just talked about Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
Tim Anderson was a lawyer here in Tampa. We just heard Tim Anderson Sr. passed away. May he rest in peace.
Great guy.
Great guy, great litigator. He owns the Anderson building. What was it on Howard?
No,
Platt Street, right? But I mean, he built a mini empire, and his one of his sons is really well. But it was people like Mr. Anderson, I should say, inspired my mom and gave my mom not only a job, an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
She worked as his nanny, helped raise his kids and all that. But when I came into the picture, it's funny that we're talking about him, and it's funny you mentioned him.
Yeah.
When I came into the picture, I was old enough to go with my mom. He would give you a little bit of advice. Hey, do you want to be a lawyer? Do you want to do this?
Awesome.
You can do it. And years later, when I ran into him, now as an adult lawyer, very proud of me, and he was still encouraging me. But it's people like him that could have easily been a negative Nelly and said, you don't want to be a lawyer. You don't want to do this. It's this, that.
I got a lot of that. I got a lot of that too. But not want to be a lawyer. I have a standard. It's funny, standard. I don't want to bring up the other Martin. I'm not gonna say the other Martin's name. My standard is Martin and Martin.
There's another Martin? Don't know?
Yeah, not a good Martin. It's another Martin.
No relation.
And I say, all right, what is this Martin doing? Okay, I don't want. If he can do it, I can definitely do it.
Right.
And then when I was having hard times, I'm like, Martin, tell me about your days.
Right.
And then because I was motivating for me,
Right.
and but the way I got in this business was by being a machine.
Oh, wow.
Because I got in a car accident and I went to a clinic.
That's crazy,
and I learned that clinic side. That's why.
That is so crazy,
funny how things
man.
work out.
That's so funny, man. All right, so going back to you now. So then, all right, so you decided, like you said, you take the LSAT and go to law school. And then, but now you do, I know you did, as a prosecutor, you did criminal, and then you did some criminal defense. I know
I
that.
did, yeah.
But now primarily what? Personal injury, med-mal, stuff like
Yeah,
that?
I'm a player for it. Auto accidents.
Okay. And do you like that better? Or?
Yes, I do. I like getting paid.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Listen.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
No.
There's
But
nothing
you know
wrong with
what? But the benefit is that when we get paid, the clients get paid.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
it's
The
a
more I
positive.
make, the more they make.
Exactly.
And I like making
All
money.
day.
Exactly. Listen, I like money and I like women, not necessarily in that order.
Yeah.
All right?
If I
Okay.
Hey, and I can't chase the women, so I'm going to chase the money.
right.
All right? I'm just like, let me
He's
put that disclaimer there.
Heidi. Listen,
She knows. She
all right.
knows. All right. I can't chase the women, so I'm chasing the money.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, fair
yeah.
enough. Okay. But with that being said, I don't know. At some point, he'll probably tell you to.
I love making you blush, bro.
You do, man. You made me blush. And we can say this. One day he made
Yeah.
a comment. He goes, "Yeah, I'm going out to dinner with my girlfriend or something like that."
Right.
And I was in shock with dinner or
Yeah,
whatever. Like,
I know.
you have a girlfriend? Yeah, I have a girlfriend. And explain who that girlfriend was.
Girlfriend's my wife. I always tell my wife, listen, you were my girlfriend before you were my wife.
So tonight you're my girlfriend.
So tonight you're going back to girlfriend status. 'cause
This
that's
is a
lot more
PG-13
fun.
episode.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
You can have fun.
Right.
You don't talk about the kids. You don't talk about work. You talk about stuff that you talked about when you were dating. So it's fun. you know?
Exactly.
And it sets the tone for the night. Like, hey, listen, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny because Adam Sandler, we saw Adam Sandler this weekend,
Yeah.
and he said almost the exact same thing. He did a variation of it, and it was hilarious. But it was a little bit more raunchier. It was a rated
Well,
R version,
But
but
there's a lot more to that
No,
story.
but you
yeah.
should always date your wife, your spouse.
I like that. See,
Date
again,
your
words
spouse.
of advice to any young couples out there.
Yeah.
you know?
Listen, I just celebrated 17 years of marriage.
You did?
Yeah,
Congratulations,
Saturday. So,
man.
you know, yeah, I was gonna say you're
Yeah.
20 something.
20 years married, 22 years together.
Interesting.
All
Well,
time.
get this, not to top it off, but I've been married since '94.
Wow.
We dated 6 years before that, so I think we're going on
You're coming out on
30.
25?
No,
Oh, 30 years together.
almost 30 years
And you
together.
have
Wow.
4 kids.
4 kids, bless her.
That's your wife's fault.
Yeah, that is my
If she
wife's
was
fault.
not pretty, you would never have had this problem.
That's
true, too.
Listen, you
And
take the
kids would
blame
have
for
been
everything else.
The
Yeah.
kids would have been ugly. Would have been feito, but thank God.
Thank God.
I'm the ugly one out of the whole family.
Yes, you don't do
okay.
it for me, so yes.
But we're on that subject, though, the secret to a happy marriage, completely off track, because it's all about Martin today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is dating and having fun,
spending time.
spending time with the family and the wife. So there's wife time and there's family time and there's kids time too. You know,
Right,
the
yeah.
coaching,
Yeah.
stuff you
course.
can't do with the wife. The coaching one-on-one.
Yeah.
You know, I had a great weekend this weekend with my kids because it was my wife's birthday. It's funny, it was my wife's birthday, but I was still. We were out the 6 of us together, and I had
Yeah.
one-on-one time. You know,
That's
I got
awesome.
2 that are old enough to drink now, and we drank beers together.
That's
and
cool.
Had a great time. So. But you know, so you learn it's like this. You know, was it zone coverage? Like say,
Right,
you know,
yeah,
before it was
yeah.
man on man, one on one. Now it's zone coverage. But if you do it right, zone, you know, and zone it out, but spend time with them, it makes life interesting. Otherwise, it gets boring, and
It
then I
does.
can see where people get pissed off.
Not boring and frankly monotonous.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
all right, get up, work, come home, eat dinner, lay down
It
in
does
bed,
get
watch
boring.
TV.
It does. Like I get my kids involved in my business. Like my youngest is editing videos for her now at the
Good job.
office.
Good job.
Yeah.
And today I'm taking her out to go Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Today's the premiere. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Spider-Man.
So get them involved, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you're right. Because life, it really does get boring. Like it's the same things over and over again. But
So tell me, so you graduated from law school, and then you state attorney's office? 'Cause
Straight
that's where I
straight.
met you. I
Yeah.
met you at the state
Straight
attorney's
at the
office.
state.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were there for how long again?
Almost 4 years.
4 years. Okay. Did you like it?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it got to the point where,
Yeah.
you know, you couldn't live off that
Like the
salary.
monotony.
Well, it was not only monotonous, but
the income too.
yeah,
Yeah.
the income was the
Yeah.
biggest thing. You know, everyone talks about teachers making too little money. Okay, God bless them. I'm not trying to take that away. Reality is, when I started, my wife made more money than me, and she was
She's
a
a
teacher.
teacher. Wow.
She has, she has a doctorate degree, so she was making more than me. And I used to get so frustrated. I was like, wait a minute, you make more than me annually, and you work 9 months a year or 10 months a year.
Yeah,
She was
yeah,
like-
yeah.
Right.
She's like, yeah, I do. And I was like, man, well, 15 years later, she still reminds me at one point
Yeah.
she made more.
At one point.
Yeah, but I mean, I just couldn't raise children and stay at the state attorney's office
And let me
as
tell you-
primary income.
Listen. You know, I did 10 years as a government
Wow.
employee,
Yeah.
right? And at some point, even though I had a great job at the feds, you know, at some point I maxed out, and I wanted to be able to give my wife what I thought, and my kids,
Of course.
the education and the opportunities that they deserve, because that's what our parents did. They
Well, the
sacrificed.
opportunities
Yeah.
that your parents came to this country for.
Right. So I took the leap of faith, and again, that's something we try to teach over
Yeah,
years.
exactly, we all
Take
did.
that leap of faith, escape your comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it that one guest said to us? The
Oh,
doubters.
be comfortable being uncomfortable. I think it was.
Right.
That's a good. The only way
Yeah.
you grow, and I'm in back to the Boy Scouts, and one of the things they actually tell adult leaders is push boys outside of their comfort zone, because the only way they're going to grow is outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
So that's why they go camping and all that, because otherwise they're home on their computers and not growing.
Well, it's like a muscle. I mean, you got to tear the muscle, you keep growing, working hard, and then it rebuilds.
Right.
Same thing. Well, I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to the
You're
gym
pretty.
much.
No, you're pretty jacked.
I'm trying. I appreciate you.
You got a whole gym at home. It's called Pitbull Gym.
Right.
I do have a gym at home.
So okay, so you did the state, and then, so you did what? Criminal prosecution.
Right.
But then when you went out, was it Joe automatically go away with Danny Hernandez?
Joined up with Danny. He had 4 other lawyers, and
He's a great mentor. Would you
great
agree?
mentor, arguably one of the best litigators.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Listen, that generation of lawyers, Manny
Yeah.
Machine,
Right.
Frank Delagrana, Danny Hernandez, Dan
Danny
Gowdy,
Hernandez.
and Danny Hernandez.
Right.
Yeah. And by the way,
not related.
well, like I say, my wife gets confused when I say I'm having lunch, let's say, with Danny Fernandez. Which one's that one? Is that the one, you know, the one that with the must? You said the must? Yeah, that's Danny Fernandez, right?
Yeah.
The one who, God bless, Danny Hernandez with the hip. Is that the one with the hip?
Yeah.
So it's like she gets confused. And she's Latina, you know.
Yeah.
Then there's Danielle Hernandez, right? On Kennedy, Danny Hernandez. Wait.
There's Danny Hernandez and Dennis Hernandez.
Dennis, that's the other one. So
Yeah.
it's like there's so many Hernandez.
None of us are
Hernandez.
related.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of Tampa, by the way. So all right, so you did. So Danny Fernandez.
Right.
Roll my
Yeah.
R's. You worked with him, and I'm sure not only did you, you know, a new career, but also having a great mentor. Who I'm told you taught you everything.
He taught me a lot on the criminal defense side. Now,
Yeah.
interesting, before I came to the state attorney's office, I clerked for a lawyer down in Fort Lauderdale named Charles Cohen.
Okay.
And Charles actually showed me the personal injury road.
Interesting.
And so, while I was in law school, I was like, I'm definitely not going to do 3 areas of the law. I'm
No.
not doing criminal defense, I'm not doing personal
There you
injury,
go.
and I don't do family law. Well, I do 2 of the 3.
Yeah,
So,
interesting, right.
never ever rule out what you're going to
True,
do
true.
Yeah.
until you get there. But then I learned, I knew the personal injury side before I got in.
Yeah.
You know, enough to be dangerous to myself. And then I got involved in that, and Danny did not know that I already had a pipeline to one of our friends, one of my friends, well, two friends from high school.
Okay.
They were chiropractors.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't know that I had the pipeline ready. So as soon as I joined up with Danny, those two friends of mine started just pumping the clients.
See, that's awesome,
And next thing you
man.
know, I doubled the firm's income in probably 2 years.
That's awesome. Now, speaking of Danny Hernandez, we got to get him on the show once.
We do.
I had a hearing. It was a domestic violence injunction. I want to say.
But you understand, Danny's got a face for radio. Okay?
I don't know about that. Good-looking guy. Even that with the gray and all
Tell him I
that.
said that.
Yeah, he'll
But-
see it. We'll tag him on it.
I had a case. It was a domestic violence injunction, which I want to say either it was somebody else was supposed to do it.
Right.
Maybe his daughter Megan was supposed to do it.
Maybe,
Or she was somewhere. So he took it over, and we went to toe for about 3 or 4 hours, and he ended up winning the hearing. I have no problem saying that. As we're walking out, he hugs me, and he says,
Remember, the facts won the hearing.
well, okay,
not-
the facts, yeah, but he's a great litigator. Not to take it away.
Yeah.
But as we're walking, he goes, Marino, you did a great job. I'm proud of you, man. He goes, I taught you everything you know. He goes, what I didn't do is I didn't teach you everything that I know. That's why I beat you. I was like, that mother effer, but in a good way, you know?
No,
He was
he
right.
said the same story.
He held it back just enough, and then he, in terms of training all of us, the young lawyers in Tampa, and then he let loose, and he won. And that's it. He deservedly win it. Yeah, great facts.
Yeah.
But I honestly thought I had it. I thought I had the great facts, but he'd be a great guy to have on the show.
No, he would be.
He's done some great. I've seen him in action so many times. A young lawyer.
Right.
Some of his closing arguments. One of my favorite. Again, this is about Martin, but just as we're paying tribute to him. My favorite, he did a murder trial. I want to say it had something with a guy dying off of a boat or something like that.
Right.
And he told the jury it was a confidential informant or a snitch co-defendant.
Yeah.
Testified was like the only main piece of evidence against his client. And I'm paraphrasing. He said something to the effect of, this is the case rests on the testimony of this cooperating defendant slash snitch. And he said to the jury, something about level of trust. He goes, do you trust him enough, the snitch, to invite him at your family dinner or have him home for dinner for Thanksgiving? Where's that effect?
Right.
And I'm sure the jury said, hell no, I wouldn't have him eating dinner
yeah.
with me and my family. So they said, so if you don't believe him, if you don't feel comfortable enough or trust him to have him in your family home having dinner with you, then you can't trust him at all.
Right.
And they came back not guilty, man.
Not guilty.
So I'm paraphrasing. He'll tell the story better, but
Danny has a tendency of being, there's an old phrase, I'd rather be lucky than good.
yeah.
Many times, 15 years together, Danny is just lucky.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
one of his famous cross-examinations, he just looked over on federal court. He just walked up to the guy and was like, and do you have any mental health deficits? And the guy's like, yes, I hallucinate.
That's
Out of
it.
nowhere.
That's
And
it.
he's
That's
like,
it.
what are you talking about?
It's
and
funny
he goes, I
she's-
see a truck over there. And there was no truck inside the court.
Interesting.
Wow.
Let me tell you,
That's crazy.
I'm putting together a trial book. As you know, I write as a hobby, and I'm trying to put
it's
together
a
a
great book.
trial
I read
manual.
it.
Well, thank you, brother.
I read it in Costa Rica.
Interesting. I'm putting together a trial manual, nonfiction. But one of the things, one of the chapters is never ask a question you don't know the answer to. But the following up chapter is or always trust your instinct. So that was an example where Danny saw something he didn't know the answer to it,
Yeah.
but he asked it anyway, and he trusted his instinct, and the answer helped him win the case.
You know what I think you should
Yeah.
do is rewrite E.J. Salcinas' book on trial objections.
I remember that. I remember
I
the
remember,
predicate. I
yeah.
remember that. We all had it as young
Yeah.
lawyers. That's not a bad idea,
Yeah,
man.
I'm telling you.
And give him credit because he's another. That's another
yeah, I've
legend,
heard.
man. That's another
You
legend.
don't have enough memory on your iPad. EJ,
Oh yeah, EJ, we could talk forever.
No, you can talk to EJ
Yeah.
for like 4 hours.
That's not a bad. We need to reach out to him, have him sit in one
yeah,
of these
no,
restaurants.
EJ's great.
By the way,
guy.
we're here at Spain Restaurant. Giving
Yeah.
credit to
Yeah,
Spain
sponsors
Restaurant.
it.
Right, our sponsors today, if you
Yeah.
will. Our
Yeah.
guest host is Spain Restaurant. Great people, great family. We kind of closed the place down.
Yeah.
So with that being said, all right. So we're just gonna a few more minutes. So you're working for Danny, and then what? Okay, and I don't know if you've asked this, but I've always want to know what's Martin Hernandez's plan for the next 5 years. My wife and I always do that. What do we have in store for the next 5 years? What's
On
your-
the business side, or
anything, business, personal, you name it.
in the next 5 years on the business side, I want to continue doing what I've been doing of growing the firm 10 to 15% per year.
That's awesome, man.
10 to 15% new clients on the auto side, and our firm has been able to do that the last 6 years consistently every year. It's more time consuming and more stressful for me, but as you grow, you also start litigating more cases. So
It makes it fun.
It makes it
Yeah.
fun, and I sometimes miss a good trial.
And listen, we're all humble people, humble beginnings, you know, and I'm like as a Costa Rican Cuban, we came from a communist country,
Yeah.
I came from a country where socialized medicine, we're not greedy. You know, it's not that we're greedy.
No.
We do it, as you pointed out, the more money
exciting,
we
too.
make as lawyers,
Right.
the more money our clients make. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's the reward. And the money, sometimes God bless them, the money that our clients make is, we only make a percentage of what they,
Yeah, exactly.
their recovery. So all credit to them and credit to you guys for doing that. But the other side of that is that we do it for our family. You know, we
Right.
want
Yeah,
our
exactly.
kids to not have to go through what either we went through or
No,
our
it's
parents
true.
went through.
Yeah, no, my
That's all
kids
it is.
are-
So it's not greed. It's not, you know.
No. If you're as a lawyer or any business, to be
Yeah.
honest, if you chase the dollar,
Yeah.
you will die by the dollar. It's
Yeah.
like baseball. If you live for
Yeah.
the long
Yeah.
ball, you will die with the
Yeah.
long ball.
Yeah.
You chase results,
Right.
and the
Yeah.
money will follow.
Right.
Because if you chase the money,
I
I'm
agree.
just telling
If you do a
That's
great
right.
job for your client, the money will follow.
yeah,
That's right.
I mean, you do the right thing. Sometimes it's not always make money.
Yeah.
Sometimes the right thing is to actually drop that, depending on the
That's true,
situation.
too.
yeah.
Listen.
I've taken cases for $2,000 when my fee should have been $50.
Right.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we take cases pro bono, man. Sometimes we take a pro bono
Done a lot
because it
of
was the
pro bono.
right thing to do. You know, that
Yeah,
poor
exactly.
guy, that poor señorita, papa, mama, papa, who didn't have any money. You know what? Fine. My wife gets mad because she's the buddy. She's the one who writes the checks.
Yeah, of
You know what?
course.
The dividends that come out of that,
Right.
that one pro bono client today is going to lead you to 4 or 5 other clients that'll, or
Yeah.
el pobre mexicano. I know you've told me stories.
Oh, yeah.
Mexicano que tiene 500 pesos, that's $500.
Right.
You know, any other lawyer said, give me 1,500 to 2,000. That $500 is probably that's his $5,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that
Yeah,
$500
yeah,
bucks
exactly.
to him is $5,000 to the
For
rest of the
somebody
world.
else.
Yeah.
He gave it to you, you did what you could with it, and then he'll remember that, and then he'll refer you to a guy who probably has a little bit more to spend, and so on. And that to me is our business model.
Yeah.
That's what's worked for all
The
of us.
continued referrals, yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
100%.
I make more money off. I have buses, bus
Yeah.
benches, billboards, internet. Referrals still number one.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
We all do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
definitely.
even done radio. Now that works.
And I'm
Word of mouth.
social media, but also just word of
Yeah.
mouth and
Yeah, but
good
social
work.
media adds to referrals because
and that's true.
because we're not paying for that, and then those are people that already see us,
That's
and
true,
they
too.
tell other people
And that's
about
true.
us.
And then when they hear, right, when they hear, or if they hear Martin say to Camareno, wait a minute, I know that guy, saw him on
Yeah.
Facebook and all that.
Yeah,
You're right.
exactly.
It supplements it, man. So I know we got to get going. So
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
our
Thank you for
imaginary.
having us.
No, I was going to
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
our,
thank
at the end we try to toast.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah,
going to do
yeah,
imaginary. I don't know about that. Salud.
There you go.
I have water, by the
Yeah,
way. I'm a
yeah,
good
yeah.
boy.